I'm going to touch on another topic that I wanted to talk about as well outside of trading. And the real thing I want to alliterate to you guys and want you guys to understand is in this business, you get paid for a direct reflection of like your level of leadership and your skills, right? You get paid as a direct reflection of your skills, whether it's in trading or whether it's in building the business. Your skills reflect on how much money that you'll actually make. And that's not like that in every single industry, right? Like, how many of you people know people that are really hard workers, and are good at a certain, job or thing, but maybe the money just doesn't reflect that, right? Like they're masters at their craft. Maybe it's really good. They're really good at their job. Does anybody know somebody like that that's really good at their job, really good at what they do, but like they don't really get paid that much for it? Put like a 2 in the chat if you know that. If you know anybody, there's people that you know in your life that are just exactly like that. And there's people all around. My mother, for an example, she's an amazing caretaker. My grandma, she was amazing at her job, but they didn't get paid all that well. They showed up every single day on time, did what they had to do, and got dollar raises every couple of years throughout their thing. There's a lot of people in this world. How many people know that? You guys see that? How many of you guys are probably thinking, that's me when I look in the mirror. I'm that person. I'm really good at what I do, but I don't get compensated. And that's why I love this business. When I saw this business is a direct reflection of the skills and the time, the effort, the energy that you put in. The more you do, the more you get paid. And when I learned that concept when I was going through college, I instantly knew this is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have somebody tell me what my time was worth, because if I worked super hard on that job or that thing every single day, I really didn't get any extra reward for it. And so I quickly shifted my skill set and my focus into stuff that would get me paid as a direct equivalent or reflection of the time, energy, and effort that I put into. That's what I loved about it. That's what drew me to not only trading, but the business side as well. Because I knew with both of those, if I put time into both of them, it would pay me like that. And I've been blessed to be able to have that be the case. And I know there's a lot of people on this call that are thinking that same thing. You want to continue being a hard worker because you are a hard worker, but you want to actually get compensated worth that. And that's why I love this industry. And so that's what we're doing. We're teaching you guys the skills, whether you just want to get a free account or whether you actually want to build a massive business and get paid every single Friday. I want to ask one more thing. Put a 5 in the chat if you'd love to wake up and you see a wire hit your account for $10, $20, $30,000. How many people would like that? How many people would like that? Probably a lot, right? Would just love to see a wire hit. I can tell you it's an amazing feeling, right? Coming from where I come from, I grew up in poverty section of housing. My mom probably made less than 15 grand a year. I wanted to see something like that. And that's why I chose this industry, because at the end of the day, it's not where you are now. It's about what you're working towards and where you're going to be in 1, 3, 5 years, because at the end of the day, it just takes 1 year to change your entire life. And so I encourage you guys to lock in. This is the year to lock in. This is the year to look back and say, I changed everything about my life. I want you guys to look in on this same exact day, January 11th, 2026, and say, man, so much has changed for me. And I want you guys to feel that feeling, because I felt that feeling back in 2019, 2020, however long ago. It feels like I've been in this for forever, but I love it, right? And so knowing that I wake up and the amount of work that I put in, it'll actually pay me, tenfold. Get good at the things that are worth getting good at. That's why I chose this industry. But Tippa talked about inviting, right? And I'm going to talk about after someone has seen the information, right? Because the whole entire steps is you invite someone, you show them a presentation, whether it's they go jump on a call, you do a presentation yourself, you send them a video, that's the invite, and then the present. And then at the end of the presentation, what do? Well, now you see if they want to get into it. And I want to give you guys a framework for a closing method, right? To getting someone started, to push it, to having them, not just pushing them to do it, but to show them why they should do it and why that, maybe they have objections. Maybe they have to think about it. I'm going to give you my breakdown of a framework on what it looks like. And I'm going to share with this, you guys, of what it looks like. You guys see my screen? Thumbs up real quick. Thumbs up, right? Before someone gets on a call, or when they get on a call and you're talking to them, there's questions that I ask them before, because you want to build a framework of, hey, why are they even interested in this, right? And so say they reached out to you, and I'll go through this pretty quick, but say you reached out to them. Well, before I get in a call, I ask them, what's your age? What do you currently do? Like, what's life currently like for you? Are you married? Do you have kids, right? I'm trying to build and see, what their life is like. Why are you interested in this? right? What, like, why would you be interested in looking for trading or investing or building a business, right? Is there a framework that we can give them for that? And then on top of this, um, what like why are you sitting? And then what does success look like for you? Right? What does success look like for you? Where do you want to be? Let me know some of your goals. If you're 25 years old, where do you want to be at 30? Right? Do you want the exact same life that you currently are living, or is there something you want to change? So I asked them, what does success look like for them? And then how much money do you currently have to invest? I ask this now. I used to not ask this back in the day, but I ask, like, how much extra money do you have to invest? Because one of the big things you'll have people say is, I don't have the money. Well, yes, everybody has $149 to go ahead and get started. Everybody does. And if they don't, they can go find it, right? They can ask for it. They can go work an extra job. They can go Uber, DoorDash. You have the money for it, but is it something that is changing your life that important for you? So I always ask them, how much money do you currently have to invest? And now, if they reach out to me, it's a little bit different. What made you book this call? Like, why did you want to learn about this? Well, whatever that issue is, like, they basically, you want to get them to say, like, why they are looking, for another opportunity. Well, say I need more money, right? I need more money. Like, I want extra money. Okay, well, how is you not having extra money affecting your day to day? How is it affecting your life? Well, for some people, it's, well, I don't get to spend time with the people I want. I don't get to travel. Maybe I'm late on rent, or maybe it's just I just living tight. I'm tired of living tight. Three, what does success look like for you? Right? Well, like, optimally, if you were the exact person that you wanted to become, like, successful, what does that look like for you? Are you someone that, like, does success look like you for, you're wealthy, or is it, you have more time? Are you traveling? Are you owning certain cars? Are you able to pay for your kids' private school or tutoring or things like that? What does success look like for you? Why are you reaching out now? Like, why now? Like, why now has it been that you want to, like, find an extra opportunity or change your life or change your finances? Why now? Like, why now? And you can see I'm building this because I'm going to use this at the very end of it. And then, amount of money to invest. It's another question you want to ask. Because if someone says, "Oh, I have $1,000 to invest," but at the end they say, "I don't have the money," say, "Well, you just said you had $1,000 to invest." Right. And then, so at the end, I paint the picture. So correct me if you're wrong, but it sounds like we're currently on this call because you're not happy with where you are in your life right now. You're not happy with your current financial situation, and you believe this is something that can help you reach those goals. So I paint that framework. And now, after they see my presentation, there's two ways that you can do it, right? There's a few ways you can do it, but these are the questions I ask. Do you have any questions on any information that you saw? So you can answer all their questions. And what did you like best after that? Okay, awesome. They said, well, I love the fact that you can, trade with live people and have it be more hands-on. Awesome. I love that as well. That's one of the exact reasons why I got started. Agree with them. It's one of the exact reasons why I got started. And then, are you ready to get started? That's all you got to ask. Those three questions. Are you ready to start? Do you have any questions? What do you like best? And are you ready to get started? And if they say yes, awesome, you help them get started. If they say no, I'm going to give you a different framework for that as well. But understanding that how you ask these questions, or asking these questions, it'll get to you, to your objective more. And obviously, you guys don't have to do all this, right? This is just me showing you guys sharpening the skills. This is me showing you guys how to sharpen your skills so you can get paid more. At the end of the day, that's what we all want to do. We want to get paid more and we want to get paid what we're worth. And this is one of the skills. And so, objections. What is the biggest one that everybody says? Let me think about it. Or, yeah, I just have to think about it. It sounds interesting, but I have to think about it. Okay. And I tell people, well, I've been doing this for a long time. Right? And you can tell them I've been doing this for a long time too. You can say, I've been around this for a long time, or whatever it may be. And when typically someone is a little bit uncertain on moving forward, it comes down to these three things. You're not completely convinced the process is going to get you to your desired goal. You're not completely convinced this is going to help you, right? You have some maybe reservations about the company or trusting me, whatever it may be. And then, or three, or you're fully convinced and you want to do this. You want to, like, you think this is going to get you where you actually want to be. And you're just thinking over, type out right here, the financial aspects of things. Because you're thinking, well, what does objections boil down to, right? They don't think it's going to work for them. They don't trust you, or they don't have any money, right? They're just broke, right? Those are the three things. And so you ask them which one of these well, tell me which one of those are, where do you fall in? So if they go ahead and tell you, well, they're not completely, convinced that the process is going to get them to the desired goal, you can give them the testimonials chat. You can tell them a story. Like for me, I can go ahead and talk about how, I was able to go from being a broke college student and with a little under, within a year or two, after 2 years, I was making six figures. Right? I can give them a story like that, or you can give them the testimonials chat that shows people getting payouts, right? It shows them, having success, or you can tell them a story about someone in your business or within the company that, has had success. And so that's one way you do it. You have some reservations about me or the company. Okay, well, look, you can break them down a framework. You can walk through the back office, show them that everything works, that the information, the education is there, or you're fully convinced and you just don't have the financial aspect of things. Well, look, at the beginning of the call, you said you had $300 to invest. So that can't be it, right? You have the money to invest. So it must be one of the other two things. So you can put it back into it. And this isn't you grilling them. This is just you being honest. A lot of people don't do it because they're either confused or they don't have the money. And if we can get down to the don't have the money part, the money part is the easiest part to solve. Go work some more damn hours at your job. Very simple, right? And so that's a big way to do it. And then, objections, they stem from, I don't think this will work. I don't trust the person or company, or no money. And so when you have those question frameworks, this is one big way. And so if someone says, well, you know what, I still need to think about it. Say they say that again after all the stuff you just went over, you handled everything you need to say. What is something? And I forgot to put the text of it on the presentation, but I can share this with anybody that wants it. If you want this presentation, just let me know. Reach out to me. But if they say, let me think about this again, right? Well, you can all tie it back in. Okay, I completely understand. I'm someone that likes to think things over as well. I like to think more about things. But let me ask you a question. Is it okay if I ask you a question? Do you said you can see yourself, you said you can see yourself doing this. You said this is something that you think, could help for you with your financial situation, whatever your situation is. But let me ask you, do you think if you had something like this in your life a year ago, if you had something like this in your life a year ago, and you can preface it by asking them, how long have you been looking to change your situation? Or how long have you been thinking about doing something like this? Okay, you've been thinking about it for a year. Okay, what do you think if you had something like this a year ago that you'd be in a different financial situation or a different situation than where you are currently? And they'll usually say, well, yes, if they believe this is a vehicle that can help them. Well, yes. Well, then let's not go ahead and wait another year. Let's go ahead and not be looking in January 2026, looking like, hey, I wish I would have did it back in January 2025. Boom, right? So let's go ahead and change your situation now. Simple, right? And you can obviously do a little less. I mean, you can do it with passion or excitement. You can kind of, tone it into the skills of it. But this is what you'll want to go ahead and do. Because if you're going to do a presentation with somebody showing the information, $149 is not that much money. They can make an informed decision on the call because this is all the information they're going to need. If they need to go back and show them something, you can do that. And then the last thing is bam, fam. Say after all of everything you've tried, they don't want to go ahead and do it. Okay, we always want to book a meeting from a meeting. Every single time you are on a call, you want to make sure you're booking a meeting from a meeting. So you never want to get off without a time or a date to either reach back out to them or jump on another call. If they say, yeah, let me just get a couple of days to think about it. Okay, well, I have a very busy schedule, so I like to just put things so I know I for sure have time to chat with you. And maybe you have more questions or you want to get started, whatever it may be, we can do it. Let's put a time in the calendar, just a point so I can know to reach back out to you or contact you. Boom, book a meeting from a meeting, and then you follow up with them. And so that is my framework on how to get people to move fast, right? This is a framework of questions. It's tying everything back into, what the problem is. They wouldn't be on a call if they weren't looking for an extra piece or they weren't looking for something else, right? So understand that, and it's our job just to show them the value that is here for them to have success. And so if you can follow that framework, but if you want me to send you this presentation, go ahead and let me know. I will send you that out and we can get that done. And so I'm actually going to pass it. So hope you guys got some value out that, but I'm actually going to pass it to our next speaker. This is someone that you guys should all know, someone we all love, adore, and trust. He's a freaking boss at this industry. He has been crushing not only network marketing for the last 6-7 years, but he also has so many other knowledge and things that he's been crushing on online business. And so when he listens, I would say, or when he speaks, I would say, listen, right? Go ahead and take all the information that you can go ahead and use and apply it into your life, right? At the end of the day, you can learn all this stuff, but to learn and to not do is the same as not knowing at all. So applied knowledge is power. Using the knowledge is power. Use knowledge is power. And so with that being said, this guy's going to give you a lot of knowledge you can use. An absolute stud. Um, and you guys may all know him. His name is Mr. Joshua Amundsen, my brother, my best friend, and my business partner. Can't wait to hear you speak, bro. Let's hear some more fire, brother. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's get some sevens in the chat for Josh. Get some sevens if you're excited to learn even more information.
All right, everyone. Well, Jay, I appreciate the introduction. I love the PowerPoint slideshow. That was pretty awesome. It's looking great, man. But the information that was on that is actually crucial. That was stuff that Jay and also Tippa was going over that, at certain points in our business, we felt stuck. You know what I mean? Like we didn't know why our income wasn't going up. We didn't know why our business wasn't growing more. And it was when we just finally found out certain pieces of information, we were like, oh my God, I wish I would have known that when I first got started because I would be so much further ahead. Right. And there's that classic quote, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. But once you know it, you're going to be like, I wish I would have known that. That's why it's so important to show up to these calls because you never know when you're just going to hear one thing and you're going to be like, it all makes sense now. I get it all, right? So that's why it's really important with being consistent to showing up to Saturday, Super Saturday calls. If you're in a local area where there's leaders that hold in-person events, go to those events. You know what I mean? Like, because you never know, you're going to hear one piece of information. Every single Tuesday, guys, at 7 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be hosting a one mission mentorship call. And this is where we're going to be having different 25K and above ranks throughout the entire company, 25K and above, speak on the call every single week. So you can finally, hear something that can cause you to have a breakthrough every week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. But this Tuesday, we got something planned for you. We got something planned, guys. The way to have success in this business is when everyone is unified and working towards a common goal. Okay, that is when the magic happens. It's when everyone works towards the same goal. Okay. And so what we're going to do, guys, is in order to launch this year into the absolute stratosphere, put you on the right track, get some blood pumping, cause you to have an amazing uptick inside of your business. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Time, we are actually going to be hosting a call all together. One second. I just sent this over to Jay. I'm going to share my screen real quick, but we're going to be hosting a call all together, which is going to be super, super powerful. And it is going to be a presentation, guys, of Tap to Trade, right? Me and Jay are going to be doing this presentation together, and we're going to basically do it at 9 p.m. Central Time. And the whole goal of this presentation, ladies and gentlemen, is if you are someone on this call that does not have a free membership yet, why don't you have one yet, right? If you don't have one yet, this, 9 times out of 10, it's like you're not like doing that crazy hustle mentality like some other people do. Like when I first got started, dude, I was 20 years old. I had no money saved up, just like Jay. Like we were brand new, fresh to the business, sitting in college. We were like, dude, we cannot pay this monthly membership. So what did we do? We took out a notebook, wrote down like 100 names. We're like, let's just go message as many people as we can. Got it done in 7 days, 7 years ago. I've had a free account for 7 years. So, the reality is if you don't have one, it's up to you if you want one, first of all. I wanted one, right? I don't want another expense. There was enough expenses, right? There wasn't enough money at the end of the month, right? But this is your chance to get one. Okay. So I'm going to talk about that right at the end of this call, guys, but we're going to go ahead and dive in some important information. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to rip through this stuff. Okay. So obviously, this is a weekly Super Saturday call, 11 a.m. Central Time, which is super awesome. I also can share this presentation PowerPoint if you need it. I'm going to go through it relatively quickly, try to take notes on it. Obviously, if you guys aren't taking notes, don't expect to retain any information or actually grow. Okay. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and dive into it. So part of this year, what's going to be one of the most important things you can possibly do? It's going to be your personal branding. Okay. Imagine this. When someone hears the name Xander, when someone hears the name Sarah, when someone hears the name Amy, when someone hears the name Tippa, I mean, I could go on and on. Jenna, Cade, Momo, Ryan, right? When they hear your full name, if they're really curious about who you are, where are they going to go look you up on? Instagram, Facebook, Google, right? What's the most common one in today's day and age? Instagram. Okay. If they're just a die-hard 9 to 5 fan, they might hit you up on LinkedIn. Okay, but I'm not sure about that. So Instagram though, you pull up an Instagram, you're like, dude, oh, I think I know that person. Instagram, right? So this year, ladies and gentlemen, what's cool is if you focus on growing your personal brand this year, guess what? You're gonna eventually have people reaching out to you saying, please teach me. Please help me. Some of you in your head, you're probably like, that sounds awesome. Right? Like that sounds so cool. If I could have people reach out to me, right? I remember me and Jay, when we first got started, we were just messaging hundreds of people, right? Because we're trying to get the word out. Imagine if we're running the best cookie shop in Minnesota. Everyone needs to know we have the best cookie shop in Minnesota, right? So we're running the best trading company in Minnesota. For us, we're telling everyone, right? Well, we were sitting there thinking about like, man, it would be wonderful if people would just message us every day asking for more information about trading, more information about tap to trade, about Akashics, right? But we realized it won't happen until we work on our personal brand. They need to look at our page and be like, oh, all right, I understand what this person's doing. They look trustworthy and respectful. I'm going to reach out to them asking for information. You can do it too. I promise, guys. I was an overweight kid my entire life. I hated social media. All right. I had an emo phase. Right. So I did not want to do social media. I hated it. It didn't, I was like, people are so stupid for posting their entire lives, but they don't make any money online. That was my mindset. Right. But when I got into, the business, I lost some weight, I got healthier, mindset got better. Right. I was like, man, I can use this to make money. I can use this to meet people all around the world. So here's what you're going to do this year. Okay. Clean up your social media profiles, delete and archive non-professional photos, delete partying photos. If you have just all group photos, just group here, group here, group here, group here, group here, right? Delete half of them, right? You want to mix it up, obviously. Super old, outdated photos, right? You can archive those. You don't have to delete them, but that's kind of what I did. Anything that doesn't portray the image of your brand that you want, okay? Anything that doesn't portray the image to the audience that you're trying to attract, you want to archive. Okay. You don't have to delete them. You're right. Just archive them. Okay. Now you want to next change your username. Okay. You don't want any numbers in your username. It looks like a scam. Okay. You don't want number like, you don't got to be Ryan7 or, J3. Like it just looks weird. Right. So take numbers out of your username. You could do either your full name or you could do your name plus your occupation. Right. You could do Josh trades, right? But it has to be something that's available. You could do Sarah trades, right? You could do something with your name and your occupation. It doesn't have to be trades, right? Or you can just do your full name. I just do my full name, right? Number 3 is change the name section. I don't know if Instagram allows you to do this anymore if you're going to get meta verified. That's the thing about this. I don't know if you're allowed to do that, but that's like right above your bio is where it says your name. I know that you have to have your real name in order to be meta verified, but if you're not, you can make it whatever you want. This is where you can do your name and your occupation, right? And we're obviously talking about trading and investing, trading and digital entrepreneurship, right? Now your bio is going to be huge. Okay. And I'm going to show you guys an example on the next page of what this looks like. But the first part in your bio has got to be your elevator pitch. It helps you stand out, right? Something about you, something that you do. Like it's literally your elevator pitch. If someone asks, what do you do? Right? Your authority statement is the second thing, something that you've accomplished. Okay. Something you've accomplished. And then C is accomplishments, your own, right? Your own accomplishments, right? And then D is your call to action. This is where people are reading your bio and you're telling them, do this to get this, right? Jay says, message me 777 to earn an online income. Guess what he gets in his message inbox? 777s, right? So you got to have a call to action inside your bio. Number 5 is story highlights. This is really important, right? You guys ever been to an Instagram page and you see their story highlights and they're just beautiful, right? Like they got like nice little logos on all their story highlights, nice little thing. You got to do that too. Okay. You got to do that too, right? You can go on Google, guys, and type in free Instagram story highlight, themes or whatever. You can literally do that. They're all over. And then you can just add them to your story highlights. You have to post them on your story and then you can add them as a highlight cover, right? It should match your brand, your identity, you got to make it aesthetically pleasing, right? Some people want like a gray, dark looking Instagram. They got to have a gray, dark looking highlight cover, right? Some people want like colorful. They got to have a colorful one. You got to have something that matches your thing. But listen, I'll tell you what. So for the people on the call that haven't done this before, I'm telling you, people will look at you differently in a positive and negative way when you do this. It's good though. What that means is you're not just blending in with society, you're standing out. You're starting to get some traction. People are starting to talk about you. You want that. You want that. Trust me. The more people that know who you are, first of all, right, and what you do, the more people you're going to have that are going to want to join. Okay. You can't play it small. You got to play it big. And if you play it big, you're going to make a lot of money. That's just the reality of it. Number 6, guys, professional content. Okay. This captures the attention of people. You know what me and Jay did? We were like, yo, let's go downtown Minneapolis. Let's bring a camera. Let's take pictures of ourselves. Let's bring 3 outfits. I don't even know what we're doing, right? We didn't have any photos, but we're like, let's just go get some content. And that's all we did. We went to like the Nicolette Mall downtown. We went to like the MOA. I mean, dude, we were doing anything we could to go find a stupid picture for us to post to increase our brand, right? Jay was so lucky to have a guy like me because I was always like, yo, bro, I'm about to take some photos. He's like, all right, let's go. You know, he wasn't the best behind the camera, but it's okay. So, but you want to get photos taken of yourself, guys, because when people come to your Instagram, that is what's going to capture their attention. Okay. Meet up with team members in your local area to take content, right? Or friends. Ask friends to take photos of you. They might not understand, but whatever, okay? It's going to make people want to listen to you if you have nice content. You don't need crazy edits or anything like that, just nice photos, okay? And then you want to grow your audience by posting consistently, okay? And I know Marissa on this call is going to be talking about social media, guys, but 3 to 5 story posts per day. So every day you should have 3 to 5 stories up, okay? Not just about the business, about anything and the business. Okay. Gym, significant other, personal development, food, your dog, your cat, your parrot, right? A book you're reading, the weather outside, a vacation you're on, a trip you're on, just a random thought of the day, and trading. You got to slip trading in there. Don't just make it trading, right? Because you turn it into an advertisement account. One actual post a week, one actual post on Instagram a week, right? Consistency is key. You don't need 15 posts to do this, okay? You don't need 15 stories every single day, 3 to 5 a day. All right. And one actual post a week. Now, we're going to go ahead. Just some do's and don'ts. Don't only post about the business. People want to see your relatable person, right? What if you had someone in your network that loves going to the gym and that's all they care about? Gym is life, but they work a job and they don't really have all the free time they want to spend on their health and fitness because they're working this job. They're very busy. Well, here comes you. If you're posting about the gym, but you show that you have all the free time in the world, you build your own schedule and you're able to work whatever you want, they're going to be like, man, I want that person's routine because you're posting about the gym. That's what got them, right? So you want to post a wide variety of things about your life because you relate to a lot of people. You have no idea. You just have to let them know that you're doing those types of things, okay? So post all sorts of content. You guys can look here on Instagram. This is an example of mine and Jay's page. You guys can see, right? There's the 4 things on here. Obviously, like an elevator pitch, for both of us, an authority statement. We also have an accomplishment, and then we also have a call to action. Okay. And you guys can see we have highlights, these different highlight covers. I like to do, one about business and then just places I've been. Same with Jay. We have, different photos posted, but you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, right? And also our usernames. Notice the usernames are clean. Okay. You have to understand though, that this is 6 years in the making. Okay. It's not like we just popped it up out of nowhere. However, you can get your Instagram looking really nice in the span of 1 week. 1 week. You just got to throw some highlights on there, a nice bio, nice username, nice profile pic. Yeah. It's already looking better. Okay. So let's get into the next thing, guys. When you're on social media, okay, I'm gonna try to rip through this stuff relatively quick, but when you're on social media, this is called flow. Okay, there's a thing I heard with Jay when we first got started is people do not care about what it is that you're trying to sell them until they know that you care about them. Okay, people don't care until they know that you care. So this is called flow. This is an awesome way to spark up the conversation with a random person on Instagram. People, the girl who taught me this flowed me after the call that she taught this on. I didn't even realize it. Okay, so first one is follow them on social media. Shoot them a follow. Okay, if like a week later they don't follow you back, feel free to unfollow them. Right. So follow them on social media, show love, comment something positive on one of their posts or pictures, something actually genuine. Okay. Don't just put fire emojis. Comment something genuine about the post, the caption, where they are, what they're doing, something genuine, right? And then you want to open the conversation with them, message them via direct message and start a conversation. Like, hey, how's it going? I absolutely love your profile. Where are you from, right? And your goal is to win them over through conversation, right? Ask them about what they do, find a connection, and then invite them to check out the opportunity. Okay. Now, what's a good way to kind of like spark up conversations with people in person or online as well? Once you're finally talking to them, what are some things you can talk about? It's called form. Okay. Family, occupation, recreation, motivation. All right. This, guys, even if you're in the 9 to 5 world, dude, like knowing these skills is absolutely important. Right. So, family and friends, where are they from? Right? So you're asking them these questions, your occupation, what do you do for work? Right? That's a classic one-liner everyone likes to throw around. Recreation, ask them what they do for fun. What do you do for fun in Montana? What do you do for fun in, El Paso? I mean, you can ask them wherever they are, right? And then the last one is motivation. What is your goal in life? What do you want to accomplish? You know what I mean? Like what is like your biggest goals you have set out, for your lifetime journey. Okay. So that's really important, guys. And we'll send these PowerPoints in the chat. All right. Here's some simple prospecting messages. A lot of you probably heard these, right? This is just a very simple one we give to everyone. But if you know the person, you could say, hey, how's it going, Aaron? I just wanted to let you know I recently started day trading with one of my friends who's been doing it for 7 to 8 years. That's me, right? And you can change the amount of time. You could say a friend that's been doing it for a while if you're working with someone else other than me. Right? He's always down or she's always down to help new people learn. Would you want to hop on a call with my friend and I to talk about trading if we set one up? This is what people on your team can use to talk about you to their prospects. This is what you can use to talk about, whoever your mentor or leader is in the company. You guys can hit us up and, ask us for help too. Like me and Jay, you can make group chats with us. We don't mind at all right now. Okay. And so if you don't know the person, that's another one that you can use right there. Now, if we get into it, what are some other ones? Okay. Here's a series of 3 messages in a row. Hey, you seem like you have great energy, and I feel like you'd be great at what I do. What do you do for work right now? Right? You let them respond. They're going to tell you what they do for work right now. Right? And you say, hey, that's awesome. And are you someone who stays open to making money on side of what you do now? Okay. Yes or no. All right. They're either going to say yes or no. That's fine. If they say, yeah, sure, I'd love to share with you what I do. It's 90% visual. So whenever you're free, I'd love to hop on a Zoom call with you and you don't have to participate at all in the call. Just sit back and listen to the info. And you set a date and time and do a presentation. Okay. Now, guys, the way to have success with any of these methods, does anybody know how to do it? Send it in the chat. How do you have success with any of these methods? Does anyone know, ladies and gentlemen? We're not moving on until someone puts it in the chat. Action, right? Yes, action, but there's another keyword. Consistency. Let's go, baby. Reputation or repetition. Okay. You guys got to do it over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's how you'll get the, actual result, right? It's like stats class. If you ever, or math, when you were in high school, they talked about statistics, right? You have to have a big enough data group to see if it actually works. Some people are like, dude, I hit up 7 people and it didn't work. I'm like, try hitting up 50. Let's see if it works. Let's get a bigger data set going, right? Okay, the next one, guys, right here, I just missed it. So something you could try for people who are hesitant, okay? You could say to them, hey, I'm working with some sharp people in the area. When can you hop on a Zoom call today? I want to introduce you to them, okay? Hey, have you ever thought about trading or investing your money? What are your plans today? We need to talk. I have some big news to share with you, right? You can call them. It creates a better connection and they're more willing to listen. Okay. Another great way is you could say, if you really want your friends to check it out or you really want your family to check it out, right? My advice is don't harass the shit out of them. Okay. Like you want them to still like you, right? It's okay if they don't want to trade and invest, but it sucks for them because guys, I just went out to dinner for my sister's birthday last night. Me and Jay are at a substantial amount of income right now, and they all still make fun of the business and they still don't want to do it. I'm like, are you guys crazy? You're sitting here talking about struggling financially, right? And I'm like, you really care about that much about what people think about you that you want to struggle financially the rest of your life? I'm like, that does not make sense, right? But it is what it is. Don't harass them. But if you want them to check out the information one time, you can say, hey, listen, I just want your opinion on what it is that I'm about to start doing. I'm going to invest a lot of time in it. I'm really excited, but I value your opinion. You don't have to buy anything. I don't care if you join it or anything. I just want your opinion. Because what that's going to do is they're going to be like, hell yeah, they're going to get in protector mode. I can give you my opinion. Like Tippa said with negative people, right? They're going to get on, they're going to be like, oh my God, you can't do this. This is going to be so bad. Or they're going to be like, hey, I want to do that. That sounds sick, right? You don't care about what they actually say. You just want them to see the information. That's the reality of it, okay? Let's go to the next one. Expectations and posture is everything, okay? I guarantee a lot of you on this call have had people that are like, hey, I'm going to be on the call and they don't show up. All right. You ever invited someone, they don't show up to the Zoom call? 9 times out of 10 is because they do not respect your time. And the reason they don't respect your time is probably because the expectations and the posture that you were portraying when you were talking to them. Okay. So check this out. You want someone to show up to the call, you got to like up the ante a little bit. All right. Sometimes when people, I invited them to like at 8 p.m. every single night, Central Time, we have a presentation call. That's Noah Ortiz does it. If I was inviting people to that, you know what I say to them? They're like, yeah, I'm down to join. I'm like, okay, here's the Zoom call. It starts at 8 p.m. Central Time sharp. But hey, I told, obviously the host of the call and some of my business partners that you're going to be hopping on the call. They're super excited to see you on there, but just keep in mind, you don't have to talk or share your video or anything, but they just know that you're hopping on, man. So 8 p.m. CST sharp, I'll see you there. Now in their head, they're like, oh my God, this person told their business partners I'm hopping on. They're expecting to see me on there. They know I'm hopping on. I have to hop on, right? If you just whip them the Zoom link, you're like, yo, here's the call. See you then. I might skip that if you did that to me. You know what I mean? You got to set some tonality, some posture, so when is it starting on the dot, right? So here's a couple things. Your business partners already know that you're saying this stuff to them. Business partners know that they're hopping on, excited to see them on there, used for opportunity calls. Let them know the call starts at 8 p.m. CST sharp, right? Please make sure to set a reminder in your calendar. I tell people that, set a reminder in your calendar, okay? Make sure to set a reminder. And then I say this call will, I literally say this to people, this call is going to be held on Zoom. So make sure you have it downloaded beforehand, zoom.us/download. All these things is making it more professional. You see what I'm saying? I tell them, please be in a quiet place for 20 to 30 minutes as we're going to be going over important information. Another important thing I'm telling them, right? Ask them if they keep skipping calls, are you committed or are you sure you can commit to 8 p.m. CST sharp on Wednesday? Are you positive you can commit to this time? Okay. It's always a commit, right? And so you say that. There's another saying, if I would you. If I set up a call with my mentor at 7 p.m. CST sharp tomorrow, would you be able to commit to that call? If I did something for you, would you do something for me? It's transactional. I use it all the time. If I would you. Can I send you a calendar invite to the meeting? Put it in their calendar, right? Like, hey, send me your email. I'll give you a calendar invite, right? Send them a reminder 1 day before the call, 1 hour before the call, when the call is live. Guys, this is stuff I was doing because I was sick of people not showing up to my calls. I was sick of people not hopping on the presentation calls. I'm like, Matt, Joey, 6 years ago, I got 25 people registered for the call. Oh my gosh, right? And then one shows up. And they're like, dude, where are they? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where they are. You can give them options that you're available in terms of time. Don't ask when they're available. Okay. If you give them options when you're free, hey, I'm free at Tuesday at 3 p.m. or 8 p.m. Do either one of those times work for you? Oh, no, those don't work for me. Okay. How about Wednesday at 4 or Wednesday at 9 p.m.? Oh, Wednesday at 9 p.m. works. Okay, cool. I put it in the calendar and then you go through the list of these things too, right? So you see, if you're saying, hey, when are you free? They're like, oh, I don't really know. You're like, dude, literally anytime. When are you free? You look like, you're not the person in control of the conversation. Okay. So that's super important. Use calendly.com and create a calendar link to look more professional. Set meetings with people to explain to them what we do. Who cares if you've never done it before? Guys, we did an event a month into this business 6 years ago. We got started within 1 month. We held an event with 50 people and we looked like idiots. But hey, guess what? We were doing it and no one else was. We took action. That's why we won, right? So do meetings with people, okay? After they've seen the presentation, Jay kind of talked about this, but what was your favorite part is what you asked them, agree and keep it short. Do you have any other questions? Are you ready to get started? Okay. I always say, what was your favorite part? They say tap the trade. Awesome. Me too. That's why I got started. Do you have any other questions or are you ready to get started? The worst thing you can ask someone after the presentation, if you just want to mess it all up, does anyone know what it is? What's the worst thing that you can ask someone after the presentation? Does anyone know? Yep. What did you think? What did you think? Now, the reason why is because they're going to tell you what they didn't like. We want to hear about what do they like. So, what was your favorite part? Not what do you think? Okay. People make decisions 99% of the time off emotions. If we're going to access the emotional side of the brain, which is what we want to do, we got to say, what was your favorite part? If we say, what did you think? They're like logic, think, don't like. Okay. So that's why you have to ask, what was your favorite part? On a scale of 1 to 10, or so, what was your favorite part? Agree, then keep it short. On a scale of 1 to 10, right now, where are you at? 1 being this is something you don't want to do at all, or 10 being you're ready to get started right now. They're going to say anything above a 1 is good. That means they're interested. Okay. But they're going to say like 7. You're like, dude, that's amazing. That means you're actually, considering this, right? So what questions did you have, that I can help you answer so we can get that to a 10 and we can get you started today? Okay. So that's another way of closing people. This is called a 3-step launch, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, guys, but this is like basically where you're just pulling them into the sign up. You don't even ask them if they want to join, right? You're literally like, what did you like best? Agree with them, keep it short. You say, hey, I got some questions to make sure you qualify to do this. And you got to say it as if you're in an interview. Okay. You are the person in control. You're the person with the opportunity. You're the person that's even allowing them to join, right? You got to have posture. Hey, I have some questions. Make sure you qualify to do this. All right. When you start trading, you're acting as if they're already doing it. When you start trading, they're doing this, right? Would you be disciplined enough to not just copy the traders, but also go through the academy and actually take notes? These questions are designed for them to say yes, 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 yes. Because then when you say, awesome, are you ready to get started? Yes. You're getting them saying yes. Okay. So answer. If they say yes, I would definitely go through the academy. That's good. That means you can be successful at trading. Okay. You can be successful at trading, right? Question 2, when you start trading, if you had someone interested in trading, would you be disciplined enough to not try to freestyle explain what it is that we do, but just throw them in a group chat with me and I'll explain it for you? They're going to be like, oh my God, yes, I could never explain this business to someone like you did. That's crazy, right? And I'm like, hey, in 30 days, you got it. But yeah, if you let me help you, you can get a free account right away or earn tons of residual income. And then I say, based off the answers to those questions, congratulations, welcome to the team. You say it with confidence, right? And you say, I'm super excited for you. I hope you're excited. This is going to be a huge year. Is this something that you want to do? That's what I usually say. And they're going to be like, yes. Or they're going to, say, yeah, whatever objection they have at that point. Right. But you get them started right then and there. You just send them this, send them your sign up link and be like, awesome. Let's do a part that takes 3 to 5 minutes today. And then in a day or two, we're going to set up the rest. Send them the link, tell them to click on it, tell them to complete it. Right. You don't even like, ask them if they want to sign up or anything. Okay. So overcoming objections, guys, let's talk about this. The 3 ones are time, also money, and I have to think about it. That's the most common ones. Okay. Time, money, or I have to think about it. This is my favorite one for time. Okay. And it's oftentimes the only one I ever need to use. All right. If someone says, hey, I don't think I have the time, you always want to use feel, felt, found. Feel, felt, found. I feel what you mean. I felt the same way. Here's what I found. Always use that. Always agree with them on their objection. Don't just try to overcome their objection right away. That makes you look like a dick. You want to overcome their objection, but first agree with them. Tell them you felt the same way, you feel the same way, right? But here's what you found, and that's how you overcome it. Trust me, okay? Some people will hear like, dude, I don't have enough time. And they're like, bro, you don't have a job. What do you mean you don't have enough time? Right? That's not how you do it if you actually want someone to get started. Okay. You got to be the professional, right? Oh, that one probably got some people, right? But okay. I feel what you mean completely. The process says I don't have any time. I feel what you mean completely. When I first got started, I was 18 credits in college. I was a full-time student. I had a significant other. I was running 2 side hustle businesses. I was working for the school. I was setting up events. I ran the cryptocurrency club, right? I had no time. And then I found this business and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll get started. But here's what I found. Okay. Here is what I found. If you have 5 minutes max a day, you can use tap to trade just like the rest of us. You literally could take all the same trades. Does that make sense? 5 minutes a day. They're like, oh, 5 minutes? You're like, yes. It literally takes 5 minutes a day to use tap to trade. Now, what if they're like, well, hey, I don't just want to use tap to trade. If I'm going to do this, I want to do the entire business, right? I want to go through the academy. I want to learn how to do it independently, right? Well, then you can say it like this. Hey, I feel you completely. When I first got started, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And then what I found is if you have 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, in 90 days, you won't be a pro yet, but you will be able to trade on your own. Does that make sense? And then they're going to say yes. Close again. Do you have any questions? Or are you ready to get started? Always go back to the close after you overcome every single objection. Okay. Oftentimes, guys, people don't even get started because you just don't ask them if they want to get started. That's what I realized back in this business. People just don't ask if they want to get started. And 9 times out of 10, you don't even give them the sign up link. Give your people the link to join. You know, there's zero chance they can join if they don't have your link, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. Now, another time objection, right, is you want to emphasize the long-term benefits of the short-term investment, right? So frame the time commitment as an investment in their future that'll pay off. The way this works is like, think of this 30 minutes a day as a small investment into the future. In just a few months, you could be looking at a more flexible and, you know, financial schedule essentially, right? And so the skills you're getting are life-changing. Once you start getting the results, the time will pay you upfront. Essentially, you're saying, listen, you will have even more time when you learn this skill in the near future. You will have even more time to yourself, right? Just for investing these 30 minutes a day, you're going to start earning your time back. And that's really what the goal is, and making more money. Okay. So emphasize the long-term benefits for the short-term investment. Okay. Now, again, we're going to send this presentation, guys, into the thing. Another time objection, compare the time spent to other low impact activities. Okay. So point out that 30 minutes is a small time compared to other activities they're doing, right? For an example, people are scrolling on social media, they're binge watching TV, they're running miscellaneous errands, right? And if they can find 30 minutes a day for those activities, they can certainly find 30 minutes a day to do this to create a better financial future, right? This time investment actually will pay you back, unlike all those other distractions, right? And so it's helping them understand what low activities they're doing, right? And so also same thing, it's going to free up more time in the future to be able to, generate income without, you ask them, like, could you imagine, being able to generate the same amount of income that you're at right now, but without your job? Imagine you're making the same amount of money that you're making right now, but without working your job anymore. That's what's possible here, right? So you're giving them the vision of what's actually possible, okay? Now, and also that this can be done on their own time, right? I always tell people, I'm like, dude, you could trade in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3 a.m. You could trade in the morning, you could trade in the middle of the day, you could trade at nighttime. It's like whenever you're free, 30 minutes a day. I was like, that's it. That's all it takes to do here, you know? Okay, let's talk about money objections, right? And so money objections, guys, I don't have money. Okay. What do you do when you don't have money? Guys, me personally, and I think this is one of the slides, but when someone doesn't have money, I just simply say to them this, because like I don't do super aggressive, overcoming objections anymore. Right. I just, they're either in or they're out, and I'm on to the next person really fast because I got a lot of people to talk to. Right. So if someone says they don't have the money to me, right, it's $149. Okay, that's just the reality of it. So someone says they don't have the money to me. I'm like, hey, dude, that's completely fine. I'm like, how long does it take you to make $149? And, and if you're in the United States, that sounds almost like, condescending, right? You're like, how long does it take you to make $149? Right. And they're like, well, I don't know, like a week. And I'm like, okay, so what day do you get paid on? They're like, Friday. I'm like, okay, so on Friday, we can get on a call. And if you're actually serious about this, we can get you started and then we'll start making money together. And they're like, yeah, I could do that. You're like, awesome. I throw it in the calendar. Boom, I'm on to the next call. I pretend like they're not even getting started Friday. I don't even care, but it's in the calendar. Now, when Friday comes, if they get started, boom, I'm here to help. I'm here to work with them. I'm here to show them how to win, right? But here's some ways you can do it, guys. Highlight the investment, not the cost, right? If you really want to get these sales, okay? There was an objection that was so ruthless that I heard back in the day. It was like, dude, $149, and they're like, I don't have the money. You're like, okay, if your mom was in jail right now today, and if you wanted to bail her out tonight, it was $149. Could you find the money? They're like, of course I could find the money. Duh. It's my mom. I'm like, dude, this will bail her out of a job. She will not have to work anymore if you take this serious. That's the type of levels of overcoming objections you can get to. But you guys, there's people all over on YouTube that teach this stuff, right? So highlight the investment, not the cost, right? So $149 is an investment in your future, not an expense. I'm like, you're not just blowing $149. I go, what you're doing is you're investing it to be able to make more. That's what you're doing here, right? It might think like a lot up front, but it's an investment to actually learning this skill set, okay? Which is super, super important. Another one is break it down into smaller, more manageable pieces in their head, okay? So it might seem like a lot of money, but if you break it down into the daily terms, right? When you think about it, it's only $5 a day. That's less than a cup of coffee or a lunch out, right? If you could just make one profitable trade on your funded account, you're gonna make back the cost plus more, right? I was like, it could easily cover an entire month's investment. Does that sound reasonable to you? Okay. So that's another way of obviously overcoming it. Whoop, sorry. All right. So shift the focus on what they're going to be missing out on. You got to create a sense of urgency. Okay. Guys, people just use these objections as cover ups. They're not real 99% of the time. Okay. When they say I don't have the time or I don't have the money, it usually means I'm confused about how it works. I don't trust how it works, or I don't trust you, right? They say I don't have time or money. Okay. Now that's okay. That's fine, guys. The person who showed me this business, I did not trust him. I asked him the hardest questions you could imagine on the presentation. He thought I was not a cool dude, right? And I still got started later on, guys, but it's because I didn't trust them. Okay. So shift the focus on what they'll be missing out on, create a sense of urgency. And obviously, as an opportunity, they might regret not seizing. Okay. So I go, think about it. By taking action, not today, or by not taking action today, you're also passing up on the chance to change your future, to make more money. I go, every day you sit and wait and wait and wait, you're not learning how to trade. You're not learning how to grow your wealth. You're not learning how to take control of your financial future. I go, can you afford to keep missing out on opportunities like this? Right? It's really getting real with someone. I used to say to people, I'm like, dude, do you agree or disagree that whatever you've been doing to make money for the last 2 to 3 years, is it working or not working based off where you are right now in your financial, journey? And they're going to be like, it's not working. And I'm like, exactly. So I'm like, take one more hit of it not working by joining and getting started. And guess what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months? You take this serious. You'll never have that problem again. You'll never have that problem again. You got to get them to realize it, right? Another thing, guys, is introducing the concept of prioritizing their future. Okay, so you got to appeal to the long-term goals. This is painting a vision for their future. I understand how it feels when money is tight, but consider this: where do you see yourself where do you see yourself in a year from now? If you keep waiting until things get easier, you might stay in the same place, because they're not just going to get easier out of nowhere. Welcome to being an adult, right? You have to pinch yourself and actually go all in order to see something really change, right? Take action today. It could change your financial future. You have to work your 9 to 5 and come home and work your side hustle from 6 to 11 until every single day, until your 6 to 11 outpays your 9 to 5. That's the only way to get out of your job, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have someone to give you money, support you, allow you to quit, is you got to get home from work and you got to work on this until 11 o'clock at night. And then you do the same thing over and over and over until you finally make enough money in this to quit your 9 to 5, or you have enough saved up so you can go all in. That's how you do it, right? And millions of people around the world have had to do that. It's not like, you're going to die. You're going to be fine, but you got to go all in, right? Compare the program's cost to common expenses, right? Dude, think about every single subscription you have. Think about how much money you spend on food. I always say, I'm like, dude, so for an example, I'm going out to dinner tonight for one of my best friend's birthdays, right? He's turning 28 years old. I keep telling him he's 30, right? And when we're going out to dinner, guys, I'm probably going to spend over $149 on this dinner. So I tell prospects that all the time. I'm like, dude, you go out, with your friends one night, you go out to a dinner. I'm like, how often are you spending $149? I'm like, all the time. And you don't even realize it. I'm like, this one can actually make you money. Like, oh, this is the cheapest business I've ever started that's paid me the most money. Right. And so you can compare it to other expenses, right? Uh, let's get into this is the last thing, guys. I said this beginning. Help, and I just got one more thing. Help set a goal, date, or time. How long does it take you to make $149? Let them answer. Okay, so on date and month, let's set up a call and get you started. Sound good? It gives them a plan of action. I help them set goals. I'm not just like, okay, hit me up when you have the money. I don't say that. You'll never hear from them. they already don't know how to stack money, so they're not going to ever hit you up. You say, how long does it take you to make 149 bucks? I challenge you guys to do that on your next call. Okay. Now here's more research. Okay. More research, right? And so this is the only one I use for more research, but there are other ones. Okay. If they're like, hey man, I just got to do more research, but it looks awesome, right? I felt out. Hey, I totally get what you mean. I felt the same exact way, but here's what I found. I like to just kind of dive into like this. I just have a quick question for you. Okay. Is that just your polite way of saying no? Because if it is, that's completely fine. I just say that because I'd love to work together. I think we'll crush as big as a team, but I don't want to waste your time and I definitely don't want to waste my time. Okay. You're saying, is that just your polite way of saying no when they say I have to do more research? Because what they're going to do is they're going to be like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, I actually want to do this. I actually want to do this. I just wanted to go look around a little bit more. You could use this objection for money, time, anything, right? Is that just your polite way of saying no? Because if it is, that's completely fine. I just really want to work with you and crush this business, right? But I don't want to waste your time. I definitely don't want to waste mine. I've used this more times than I can count. And they're either going to be like, yeah, it's just not for me. That's fine. On to the next person, right? But if they're like, no, I actually want to do this. I literally don't have the money, or I literally don't think I have the time, overcome the time objection, or I literally don't, I just want to do more research. That's it. Like, I'm not the type of person that just jumps into stuff, right? And I'm like, hey, that's completely fine. Now check this out. If they're like, yes, I do want to do this. I just got to do more research. I say, awesome. How long do you need to think about it or do more research? 24 or 48 hours. I give them two options, 24 or 48 hours. How long do you need? Because now they think they only have two options, right? If you just end it at how long, or how long do you need to think about it or do more research? If you just end it right there and don't give them a time frame, they're gonna be like, I don't know. I was thinking like a week, month, a year, something like that, maybe a couple years. So you got to give them 24 to 48 hours. If they don't accept one of those time frames and they say, I do need a week, I need a month, they're not serious. Put it in your calendar, mark it down. You're going to talk to them then, but take your mindset off of them onto the next. But when that date comes, then yeah, sure. Like, hey, you ready to get started? Let's start making some money together. Okay. But yeah, guys, 24 to 48 hours. No worries at all. I appreciate that. So if they say no, I say no. Oh, guys, if you ever have a prospect tell you no, here's a cheat code. Okay. A no is not a no forever. It's a not yet. Okay. I said no when I first saw the business. I said no. No worries at all. I appreciate the honesty. Is it okay if I keep you up to date with my journey from time to time? Send them screenshots of your wins, good trades, incomes, profits, your successes, other people's success stories on your team, right? You gotta ask for permission. Is it okay if I keep you up to date from time to time with my journey? Guys, I literally would just whip people like every single morning I would trade. I'd just send them my wins for the day. Sometimes I'd send them losses too, to make it look, obviously more authentic. You know what I mean? But let's get into this next one, guys. Oh, I think that is the only one I put on there actually. Oh, sweet. All right, cool. So I'm gonna send this to you guys, so you obviously can have that. Did anybody gain some valuable information from that, guys? The stuff I just went over. I'm just wondering, because some of you might have known all that, but that information is crucial, right? I call that the bolts and the screws. It's the bolts and the screws, right? It's like I took a professional sales training class in college. That's why when I joined, I knew how to sell. You know what I mean? But the reality is, guys, is like it's not a car dealership. We're not selling cars. This isn't one-time sales. What you're doing is you're selling the dream of being able to quit your job, work this business online full-time, help hundreds, if not thousands of people, be able to help your family financially, create generational wealth. That's what you're selling for 149 bucks. Right. But it's not a one-time sale. It's a reoccurring sale. People are going to stay in your business, right? I don't even call it closing sales. I call it launching someone. I'm going to launch a new person in my business. It's a business partner relationship. It's a long-term relationship. That's how you should look at it, not closing a sale. Okay. So we're